Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire ordinal space. We cover everything ordinals, BRC20s, the entire space, guys. If you guys want watching, you guys know the deal. We're ordinals only, and we love this space. We have an art project today. We're really digging deep on art. You know, we had Gadfly, we had Paris, and we really want to continue this. Today we have Satributes. Satributes is really amazing stuff. We really love what they're doing, and we really love what they're doing for the space. And there's really amazing project, and we want to really dig deep in them today. And we think that, you know, art on Bitcoin is going to be huge. And yeah, we're just huge fans of what's next for, you know, we got recursion and the parent child and so many possibilities. So we really want to dig into artists. But let me bring in my partner, as always, Mr. Yagobi. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. A little it's early for us, but we got our day started, so I'm ready.
Yeah. So what do you think about Satributes? I mean, we've been looking at these guys for a while, wanting to have them on the show as soon as we really started picking up the artists. What's your opinion?
Yeah. I remember when I first saw their pieces kind of in Magic Eden. I was a bit confused initially. I was like, okay, so this is kind of just their style of art. But the more that I looked into them, I saw some videos of them being at different summits and conventions. And I saw what they're actually building with the art. It seemed to be like like a VR, almost like AR, augmented reality type of hardware, right? And it was really cool. I was a bit taken back because I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
After seeing their pieces on Magic Eden, so very interested to see what was behind the motivation of this and where they're headed.
Yeah, hell yeah. And yeah, so I'm in the same boat. Like when we first came across them, I think it was in a couple spaces ago or something, right? And then so I mean, we've been listening to these guys for a while and just very interested in what's next for them.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting because like you whenever you see stuff that's integrating like different things that nobody else is really doing in the space,
Yeah.
it excites you and says, okay, this is just another builder or artist that's pushing the envelope.
Yep.
So
Let's bring them in.
all right.
How you doing, Satributes?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well, thank you. How about yourselves?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this. Again, anything ordinals is exactly my jam, so delighted to be invited.
Awesome. Well, on this show, we obviously we love projects, we love art and everything like that. But for us, it's more about the people around the space. Without good people, you don't have a good space, and we don't want to repeat what we made before. So, if you could kind of dig into your background as far back as possible, up until you heard that magical word called Bitcoin.
Crikey. Okay, so I've known about Bitcoin for a while. I got into the space about 2011. I was about to start a Bitcoin exchange called buyabitcoin.co.uk. Decided against it. For regulatory reasons in the UK, it was a little too early, and the taxman, they like their pounds. So I felt it was a bit of a risk in that early stage. But I was always fascinated with the tech. I've been an avid technology enthusiast and then entrepreneur over the past sort of 10, 15 years. In about 2012, in fact, we actually turned down the offer to be the first Ripple exchange in Europe. We met with a bunch of the Ripple team, Chris Larson and co, and we felt that there were a bunch of bankers in crypto clothing, and it wasn't quite our style. So I made a choice back then to move from crypto, rather as a full-time sort of profession, to gaming, which was my passion, what I loved. And I'd always loved emerging technology. That was always my focus. And in 2009, I bought a 3D TV, but there was no content. And so I worked with some great engineers to develop some 3D injection drivers, a method for you to be able to play any DirectX game, any PC game in true stereo 3D if you had a 3D TV. And that opened up some doors with NVIDIA. And we had a little partnership agreement where we'd share content with them, and then in return, they give me access to some cool tech that allowed me to build this video streaming platform. And that was cool. But that then led me down the road of cloud gaming, because ultimately it was other people watching me play games in 3D on this video platform, which is cool, but it's cooler to be able to play the game yourself. So we started digging into cloud gaming. But cloud gaming back in 2012 was different to what it is today. You couldn't get enough frames, you couldn't get enough resolution to have a good experience in 2D, let alone in 3D, where you're doubling the frames effectively. So we dug into some really clever tech, some DARPA tech, actually, that we managed to get a license to, some ex-DARPA spin-out tech that would allow us to do some very clever stuff. We could deliver a game in a cloud delivered but locally rendered capacity, where we'd have a sandbox installed under an operating system that would allow us to trick the OS into thinking that had 100% of a game installed when we only had a partial of between 1 to 8%. Because all games are non-linear. You don't sort of start at the beginning and finish at the end. There's all sorts of branches of ways. So this virtualization method would allow you to page games down and make your device, your computer, whatever you're playing it on, think the whole game was there. So we started going around conferences in about 2012, showcasing Skyrim being downloaded on a mobile phone connection in 108 megabytes. And you're able to then play that in full stereo 3D with this transient cache, where provided you had an internet connection, you could pull down the game, render it locally, and then throw away what you don't need. Really amazing tech. And so it was around then that I found out about virtual reality. I heard rumors of this chap on this forum called Meant to Be Seen 3D, a chap called Palmer Luckey, who was building this prototype, this virtual reality headset. And I was fascinated because, of course, coming from 3D, VR had always been the next sort of the grail of what we were all hoping for. And I met up with a chap because, of course, we had the delivery technology that was capable of delivering 3D games just as it could deliver VR, because it wasn't streaming pixels, it was streaming data that was run locally. So you remove that latency issue. And we had it backward and forward, and I saw an early prototype, and I realized that this was fundamentally a cannibalized tablet screen plugged into a desktop computer. And to me, I felt the future of VR wasn't going to be tied to a desktop computer. It had to be self-contained. It had to be ARM-based. It had to be portable in some shape or form, and desktop PCs simply are not that. So we reached back out to NVIDIA, who we'd already been working with, and I just managed to persuade Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, to give me access to a reference design in about 2014. For a Shield tablet, which was one of their very cool tablets that they built that used a Tegra processor, Tegra K1. And we brought on board an incredible design house from Sweden, and we reconfigured that tablet into a self-contained headset. We built maybe 4 internal prototypes before that, and we showed them off at GDC and CES and a whole bunch of conferences from about 2012 to 2014. But they were all decent until we got to sort of 2015, 2016. Every year we'd iterate and build a new version. So we built the first HD headset, the first 2.5K headset. We then worked with Valve to build the first cross-platform VR headset in about 2015. And throughout all of this, the headsets were getting lighter. You know, the last headset that we actually built, we decoupled the battery from the headset and we put it on your belt and a clip to remove even more weight from the headset. So we just had the processor and the screen and the display. But even that was too heavy. We gave dev kits out to developers, and lo and behold, they came back and said, "Oh, unfortunately, it's cool tech, but we're not going to use it for very long. It just weighs too much." So we had to go back to the drawing board, and then we started building out a device I call Curve, which is a spatial computer, effectively a desktop-class wearable computer that weighs 0.5 kilo, that is display agnostic. So you can plug in any PC or PC, VR, or AR headset, but you're plugging it into a computer that can be worn on your hip, effectively on a sling. And this thing is interesting because this is now the first time that compute power has been decoupled from display. Because VR and AR in a world, it's stuck where if you want to play if you want to play a PlayStation, you have to play it on a Sony TV. That decoupling of compute and display hasn't yet happened, and yet that's the only thing that must happen for VR and AR technology to get adopted by the masses, because no one's going to want to wear 200-300 grams on their face for any long duration of time. So when you take the computer out and you put it somewhere else, you can then enable headset manufacturers to start commoditizing their products, to do the thing that Facebook and Apple really don't want to do, which has become a race to the bottom. Because when you take the computer and you take as much compute out of the display as you can, you're fundamentally just making a TV with extra sensors. And there's not much money in that. The money is in the ecosystem and the app store and the analytics that you can derive from the contained solutions. So that will happen. Consumers eventually will get what they want, which is lightweight TVs. But up until that eureka moment, consumers are going to be stuck in the days where, TVs had DVD players bundled inside them because they had better margins. And it's an inevitability. This decoupling is going to happen. But the thing is, I don't think it's going to come from the big companies. I think it's going to come from startups. It's going to come from display companies who realize, fuck it, we can't compete with Apple. We can't compete with Meta. But what we can do is make a really lightweight pair of glasses, and then we can leave it to someone else to build the computer. And that is happening. That fragmentation is about to start to take place. And that's a great thing, because then you can start to allow developers to buy one piece of hardware and then be able to pick up a bunch of cheap displays to be able to build content for the largest addressable market. Whereas today, developers are stuck because they have to pick, right, I've only got so much cash, which platform do I target? And that's a shame, because ultimately, if what we lack is the interoperable standards. And all of this is a long bit of background, because it does all tie in together. Now, Satributes is our way of fostering community. much like Frogland prior to Satributes, was my way of fostering content, and doing so in a way that doesn't rely on VC funding, that is built in a more Web3 ethos. So in 2021, having spent a long time doing sort of hardware R&D and going around most of the conferences and doing some pretty cool tech with some pretty cool people, my wife, who's a traditional artist and has been around me in crypto for a long time, started to take interest, wanting to know about Ethereum and MetaMask and how to mint. And to me, it was fascinating because she's pure art. You know, she was selling her sort of canvases in Lodge Road Auction House in central London, like sort of actual artist. And all of a sudden, like, she started digging into the tech that I'd loved, and I couldn't understand why. So I started listening to these clubhouse spaces, and I started to discover something amazing. Artists overcoming friction to come into an emerging technology space before there's an audience, before there was a market, and just because they wanted to create content on this new interesting medium that is Ethereum. And what happened for those next 6 months was something I'd never ever seen before, and it's the reason why I'm now so passionate about only being in Web3 and doing things in a Web3 way, is because I saw this room about nothing, this clubhouse room started by Snacks and a few other individuals that all came up with the idea that pizza is a human right. It's a distribution problem, not a scarcity problem. And what can be done using technology to solve that? And so a community of 8,000 people came together in a few short weeks. 314 artists, each contributed an individual virtual pizza topping. We had some incredible engineers and Hollywood talent, and literally everyone from all over the world chipping in to create this project where we had a collection of 10,000 pizza boxes that was put on a bonding curve, with the final 2 pizzas costing 10,000 Bitcoin as an ode to, of course, the 2 pizzas that were purchased. So the idea was never to sell this collection out. The idea was to create infrastructure that every year would provide funding that would host pizza parties on the anniversary of Bitcoin Pizza Day. And sure enough, on May 22nd, 2021, after selling out that I think $1.5 million worth of NFTs, we held the world's largest pizza party. 60 countries across 5 continents had pizza shops onboarded by local community members and had money sent by the DAO to each and every one of these pizza shops. And this all happened in a matter of weeks. And like, you could never do something like that in Web 2, with all of these people who all have jobs and all sort of competent, interesting individuals, all spending a lot of time and energy just to do something for the sake of it, because it was cool and it was new. And then the world turned. I mean, we were fortunate insofar as I pulled together the founding team from Rare Pizzas, and we created a collection called Notorious Frogs, which was a way for us to build a 3D environment, dare I say a metaverse, that would focus on the rich art of this space, especially the lore and the creativity that we saw within communities. And this was an incredible project, and something that's still going very strongly today. In fact, we just won the consensus hackathon for Web3 gaming. It was a unanimous vote, I'm quite proud to say. But we pulled together, about 7 individuals from Rare Pizzas. So we had the 2 members from Disney ILM, who one of them created the Michael Jackson hologram and the Patronus in Harry Potter. One of our CTOs was building an active cryptographic voting machine for the US government. Absolute rock stars, who have been doing very, very complex stuff. And with that, over the past 2 years, we started building out content. And that content was co-created with the community. Insofar as if you look at any one of our games, you will see obvious references to lore, to characters, to artwork that have been created from within the members of the community. And over those 2 years, it taught me a lot about how to foster community and where this space went right and where it went wrong. And where it all went wrong, in my opinion, was when we started to make the space more hostile for the artists, because it was the artists that created the interest, building new stuff on new mediums no one had ever seen before. And as soon as royalties were removed, and as soon as this space became harsh, where the people who had just learned enough to get into the space to be able to create were then forced out, and when they couldn't make any money anymore, they had to go back to work. They had to do whatever they needed to do to pay the bills. And unfortunately, when they left, I like to say that the party's over. We're left there holding a bag, and we're wondering what happened and where it all went wrong. And it was because the artists got pushed out. And when the artists aren't creating new things, there's no reason for Web 2 to spend any time or attention looking into Web 3 anymore. And so the only money that's left in Web3 was the trickle of cash that was brought in by those artists in the first place. And it's now just Web3 becoming cannibalistic, trying to take it from each other rather than focusing on new money into the space. So with Ordinals, finally, Ordinals, what I saw in the very beginning of Ordinals a few months back was the same thing that I saw with NFTs. And it was fascinating because when you've been in crypto for long enough, you see the cyclical nature of crypto. You see the same things happen every fucking cycle, just with a slightly different name and improved technology. The example I love to give is ICOs evolving into IEOs, evolving into IDOs. You know, it's fundamentally the same shit, just different technology, different names. Now, everything that we were promised with ETH, not necessarily promised, but a lot of what was sort of promoted with ETH, sort of immutability and provenance and all of this stuff. I'm not saying it's not true. IPFS is there, and is it going to go down? Probably not anytime soon, but this next cycle, we now have better technology, layer one technology, Bitcoin, you know, the most secure fucking thing in the world, the longest, the OG, the daddy chain, if you will, the thing that is simple. And when I say simple, it's not simple, but the fact that it doesn't try to do anything overly complex makes it secure. Anytime you add more complexity, that's where you start adding vulnerabilities. And that's why it is fucking awesome. So all of a sudden, you then have this provenance of being able to trace Bitcoin from their point of creation. And then you can have Satributes, these Satoshi attributes that can say, oh, this is a Nakamoto, or this came from the Silk Road, or this came from the pizza transaction. And all of these things I find absolutely fascinating. And you can trace them all back and verify it all yourself. But then when you get to the idea of, hang on a minute, I can now for the first time take code, take art, take anything and inscribe that onto a Satoshi for all time, for anyone to see, for the rest of Bitcoin's existence. You know, that's fucking powerful. People don't necessarily understand that about ordinals. And so what ordinals needs to do is spread that message far and wide, because there are so many creators out there who want to be able to do that and were promised to do that, but don't necessarily understand the nuances of pinata subscriptions and teams and all sorts of things that basically hamper that immutability. So this to me is just NFTs 2.0, different name, different technology, different evolution of what we previously saw, just for the first time. Like digital assets in this collectible fashion were new to us, even though Hal Finney predicted it fucking years ago. 2021 was the first time that we really saw it taking off. So we've now seen what went right and what went wrong. So Satributes, how and what is Satributes? Well, we are a collection primarily. We are many collections, in fact, and we have an ethos where we want to try and raise the bar so high for what it takes to be a successful ordinal project that the bad actors that ran amok so much during the last cycle don't find it as easy to be an ordinal project. And the way we go about doing that is we give our ordinals away for free, and we'll always do that. We say we give ordinals to good people in the space in the one condition, the one ask that they do support artists and creators in the space that need the support. So we as a collection will never ask for your money. We only want your time and attention. But if you give us that time and attention, we'll give you access to tools and technology and resources and places and wonderful things that no one else has access to because we build it all ourselves. And you can use that for your own communities, for your own individual purposes, for whatever you want. And those artists who are able to create great artwork, artifacts to come on chain, we then bring them in and then we elevate them and we put them in front of our community and we ask our community to support those artists. And we're doing this now for the first time for a collection that we partnered with for Magic Eden, where again, we don't take a cut of this. We pay for the Satoshis. We've just secured 100 block 9s of the oldest Satoshis around in circulation from a partnership with the Rare Satoshi Society. We're going to be paying for the inscriptions. We're doing a lot of the heavy lifting so that artists can just focus on being artists. We have within our Discord dedicated channels for artists who have, let's say, a 100-piece collection, who don't necessarily need to want to have to manage a whole Discord, but they need holder verification software. They need the utility of being able to use AI stuff and fun bits and pieces that they don't have the time and the energy or sort of sometimes even experience to do. So in my opinion, the one thing everyone in the ordinal space needs to be doing at the moment is to support those innovators. And when I say artists, I mean people who are able to roll up their sleeves and do the stuff themselves, not the people that need to hire teams of people to do the stuff themselves. And that's where it all went wrong. It was when the focus from art, oh, this art isn't good enough, I need utility now. And so the promises of utility started coming out, and then, oh shit, I need to outdo the previous promise, so here's another bigger promise. And then it's just it just went bad. And so I'll stop talking now. I've been talking
I mean, like, so a couple of points really. First, I agree with you on everything that you saw with ordinals in terms of I've never heard, well, I haven't really heard it said that way in terms of NFTs 2.0, but I see that now. With the collectability, with the rare stats and everything, it really just evolved NFTs. And then what you I didn't know that Satributes is really about the artist, which is, you know, amazing. And I'm starting to see this renaissance of digital art coming back to the space, and it's happening through ordinals, which is so exciting and amazing. So, you know, I think that's awesome what you guys are doing with that. So if you're an artist out there, like, visit Satributes Discord, get connected with them. And another thing, like that's one thing that we focused on recently, Shizzy and I, during our meetings between us two, is we wanted to give artists the shine recently. I would say the past 2 weeks, and we've had some amazing artists on our show, and these are the ones that are hands-on, right? The ones that you're talking about. So the thing that I feel like happened was, like you said, people were making promises. They were hiring other people to do more because of this liquidity chase that happened in the space. And it was like people were just trying to get liquidity, and it was within the Web3 space. But what Ordinals has a chance to do is to really bring honest collectors of digital art, honest appreciators of it to the space.
No, that's exactly right. And we got to remember that we are in a bear, and there's a lot of interesting technology out. And while Web3 is unfortunately going to have a negative connotation while we go through this plateau of indifference before we get back to the bull, there's still interesting pieces of technology out there that I feel Web3 should be focusing on. AI primarily being one of them, because of course AI is something that is evolving so quickly and is yet another one of these emerging technologies that people who have already understood crypto and ordinals, I think will be well suited to understand the evolution of that tech as well. XR is another way, VR and AR more specifically, is another way that I think artists should be focusing on creating content, because again, the one thing that brought in huge amounts of money was not the PFP plays or the metaverse projects. It was the artists creating new content on new mediums that people had never seen before. And that is the thing that made people buy ETH for the first time, to be able to collect. So I see the same is going to happen with Bitcoin. Now, the difference with ordinals and NFTs is, again, technology. You can do things on ordinals you can never do with an NFT. The beautiful thing about recursion, about P5.js and 3.js and these wonderful libraries that you can now use for these ordinals, allows you to create vastly complex works of art on very small amounts of code. So this is really a direction that ETH NFTs simply were unable to go in. So to me, the thing that is still in the process of happening, I don't think has happened yet, is the killer app, so to speak, for ordinals. And I think it's going to be something interactive. I think it's going to be something visual, something artistic, but I think it's going to be, again, something that couldn't be done on any other medium before this. And that's going to catch the attention of the world. And so I don't know what that thing is and who's going to make it. And that's the beauty of it. It's open season. It's Wild West. It's whoever figures it out, whoever finds that killer app. And now everyone's able to do that because it's finally affordable to put any data on chain. And now with ChatGPT and with AI, you can learn to do this stuff. And you can literally do, I like to say to anyone, take a weekend and ChatGPT and inscribe something at the end of that weekend, no matter what it is. And I bet you will love what it is. And you will probably have done something before anyone else on Bitcoin, and it will then be that forever. And it's a cool thing to be able to think, oh, the first person to ever do something on something, and that's something you get to give to your kids, and maybe they'll give to their kids' and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a cool thing. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, so it really it sounds like you guys are really like on the ground floor of the artists and stuff like that. So like, could you are you working with any artists right now? That you guys are.
Quite a few.
Mind? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I'm quite proud of this. So again, having been in this space for a long time, a lot of my very good friends are these cool artists that sort of I've managed to spend time with over the past few years. So the First Light collection is this first collection where up until now we've given out already 200 two collections. Our first collection, the OGs, we gave away for free to the OGs of the space, and then we asked those OGs to introduce us to two of their top contributors, the people who supported them the most through all-time highs and all-time lows. And then we created a second collection that was twice the size, and we gave them out to those people. And then we asked those individuals to recommend more good community members who, again, were in the communities for the right reasons. And these people are about to receive their upcoming ordinals, and they'll go to Magic Eden and they'll claim it. And it's 400 palindromes that are inscribed and should be ready to go fairly soon. And these will be going to Magic Eden, and you simply just click and claim. In fact, the upcoming collection that isn't listed yet, but you could find if you have a keen eye, because it is already inscribed, are recursive. And there's some interesting Easter eggs to them as well. So I'm not going to say much more. But that being said, it is a claim that's going to be taking place, I can tell you now, on the 26th of September at 4:20 p.m. EST. So anyone who already has a Satribute and who continue to hold and support this project, or anyone who has earned a spot in this upcoming collection, what we call an OL3, an Orange List 3, an Orange List for the third collection, is going to be able to go to Magic Eden, to their launchpad, and claim their ordinals. And this will be the third installment in this trilogy by DDMX. And this third collection is actually going to be a collaboration between DDMX and Dakinen, who have been doing some incredible work in Ordinals. But the First Light collection is actually bringing together a bunch of different artists. What I mean by that is we are looking to not only work with the artists already in Ordinals, but we're looking to onboard new artists, because there's a lot of spectacular individuals that simply don't know about this technology. So the First Light collection, we have members like Gabe Weiss, like I Am Complex from Oniforce. We have Wes Henry. We have Rabbi Gaines, of course. We have Dakinen. We have The Analyst. We have Creasy Bears, we have No Banks, we have a lot of some of the best known artists in ETH. We have a lot of the Art Blocks community artists now coming across as well. And our view is, if you are a great artist, doesn't matter what chain, doesn't matter even if you're not in Bitcoin in any shape or form, we want to know who you are, because we want to bring you into the community in some shape or form if you're here for the right reasons, and find ways to support you. And we can do that by a number of different ways. We've built some incredible AI technology. So we, in fact, have an entirely free-to-use AI platform called AI Blocks, where you can generate artwork based on models that we've trained on canonical artwork from various different projects. So we do ethical AI training. So we've got permission from Yuga, from Figgy, to be able to train models on 10KTF and Bored Apes and other side. And you can now go and sort of ask for sort of Wag Me Son riding a motorbike, playing basketball, whatever you like, and you get artwork from either their old style or their new style. You could take your existing PFP and you can modify it. You can do a whole bunch of very clever stuff. And this is just a free-to-use website that anyone can go and use. We built a Discord bot so that you can use this thing in Discord as well. The catch is it will put orange spheres in absolutely everything in the Discord bot because of its attributes. You can't do anything about it, unfortunately. That's just a fun little thing. So it's a way for us to teach artists that AI is a fun tool to use, because the models that we're showing off, the Satribute models, have actually been trained on data sets provided by all of our community. So he said, hey, we're going to do a weird experiment. We want all of you to give us some images of what you feel Satributes is. And so we had hundreds of images submitted, and they all had orange circles and things all over the place. It was awesome. And they were pan painted. They were sort of procreated. They were done in Blender. They were done in all sorts of applications. And we trained a model on all of those images. And it picked out the underlying theme of orange circles. And so what you can now do is go into our Discord and you can type in, a frog wearing a crown. And that frog wearing a crown is going to have orange circles added to that scene perfectly in some shape or form. It's an incredible thing. So we took the best images over that last month's generation, and then we trained a second model, increasing the quality of the data set so that now we upgrade to the V2 model. And this V2 model now outputs even better content than the V1 model. And it's a process we're going to keep doing. So next month, we'll take the best of last month's images, train a new model, release that to the community. So we've now started working with individual artists to train models on their portfolios. And if you go to the Satributes.art website, you will see a fusion of two AI models. And you'll see a prompt box. And if you type anything in, type in Bitcoin, and you click generate, you'll probably get some orange circles with a Bitcoin logo in. And that's because that model has been trained only on, this is a much better way of just trying to explain it. Wonderful technology, eh? And if you click the generate button, now what we're going to get is an image that's been generated using a model that's been trained on the Satribute collection. So the only thing this thing really knows are circles. And it's an interesting thing. So it's just going to do a little bit of generating, and then the background should update to show you a perfectly tiled iteration of what this model can generate. Now, I would say, there we go. So you can see at the top, just behind the prompt box, you can now see that background's changed. But if you see the strength button, if you click on that strength button, and you take that slider, and you slide it all the way down to the left.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
Here's one right here. Okay.
So this is the second model. And now if you click generate again, you're going to see an entirely different image get generated. So this model has been trained on DDMX's 15-year portfolio of artwork, of abstract artwork.
Whoa.
No idea what Bitcoin is.
That's really cool.
Exactly.
That is
now
insane.
Abstract artwork. So now if you go back to strength and now start moving it more up to the right and just keep tweaking it more up to the right and then click generate and say, what now you're getting is a influence from two different models. One model that knows only circles and Satributes, and one model that only knows DDMX's artwork. So it starts to bring these two models together. And again, it's just a wonderful tool. I mean, Bitcoin was a fun thing. You could do fish blowing bubbles. You could do abstract. You could do whatever you want. Because ultimately, this is the way AI is going to evolve is not so much going to be everyone using Midjourney and artists getting annoyed that their names are in Midjourney. That shit's not going to fly in a year or two's time. Because artists they'll be able to train their own models, as we can show here, and we'll happily work with artists to train those models. And once they have a model trained, they can come to AI blocks, to our website, and we can token gate it so only they have access to it, or only their community has access to it, or we can open it up so that everyone has access to it. It's entirely what they want to do. And so
I love what you said. I love what you said just now about like it's not gonna work like the Mid-Journey thing if they continually do that, because there's gonna be so much saturation of the same style. You know what I mean? And then this allows more of unique and utilizing AI at the same time.
Precisely. And so to me, this is where the future is. This is going to be artists owning their own models and choosing what they do with those of their own models. And so again, this is our way of being able to show this off to people. If you click on the link just to the right of the strength button, we can give you a little run through. There's a tiny little circle. Yeah, you may not be able to see it against the white, but there we go. Perfect. Yeah. So this takes you to AI Blocks, which is the app that the sort of the free-to-use platform that we've designed, which does a whole number of things. Now, admittedly, you would need to sign in to be able to use this, but it's entirely free. So you can sign in with Google, with MetaMask, or with Leather, rebranded.
Okay.
And once you sign in, you get access to free credits. And so those free credits are effectively infinite. This is an interesting platform that, again, allows you to create great content. This is a very fun platform, actually. So once you've managed to sign in, you should see, well, you should be able to start generating stuff. And I'll talk you through a couple of the most interesting things that you can do here.
Yeah, 1 second. Always struggling with this damn hero wallet.
They have rebranded. They've done a great rebrand. So they're now named as Leather.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, you can always just create a burner, because of course you don't have to pay money to use any of this. So whatever's the easiest way. And again, if it's I can
can't remember my password.
Story of my
life. Can you do it?
The story of my life. I tell you what I could do. I
could do it. What's the URL, Shizzy?
Okay. Put it in the thing.
Yeah,
right
put
now.
it in the thing real quick. All right, get it real quick.
I would offer to do a screen share on my side, but I know StreamYard always crashes my Brave browser whenever I have video and I try and. I have no idea why, but it's a thing. I've learned.
Yeah.
All right, so let me share my screen. All right, I'm in.
All right, awesome. So now, fun thing to do. Let's just say, for instance, type in any prompt you like. Let's just say, I don't know, I always like going for a frog in some shape or form. So frog wearing a crown. I mean, that's always my go-to. Now, before you click generate, there's a few things to notice. Look at the styles button. There's you click on that, then these are a bunch of different styles that are effectively different models that we can start fusing together. So if you click where it says none, and we're going to select the Satribute style.
None.
And yeah, if you click on that, and then you should see a drop-down list that should pop up.
It's in your oh, there it is, Satribute. Okay.
Yeah, lovely. And just click
generate.
I'll tell you what, yeah, click on generate. It's going to generate 4 images. So for brevity, we could always turn that down for 1 image, but it's normally pretty quick.
So
wow,
oh, this is cool.
So now we have a frog. You'll notice we have orange spheres that have been just added in some shape or form to the picture.
Yeah,
that's because we're using style, and our theme is Satributes. Now you could put anything in. I mean, for instance, so let's take out frog with a crown, and let's try something like the Great Wave by Hokatsu.
By who?
HOK. Shit. Hang on.
Just kidding.
HOKUSAI, I think it is.
USAI.
Yeah, there we go. Should be able to figure it out anyway. And then if you click generate, I do particularly love this artist's work. Spelling is just horrendous.
Okay.
So you now get the sort of the iconic artwork, but you can now see we're getting that orange circle applied to it. So it's a wonderful thing where you can start taking sort of anything and apply various styles. And as you can see, we have a number of different styles that are on there. Some of them are focused on individual NFT collections. So if you go back to the homepage, I can show you a couple of the other models. I'm sorry,
well, not there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Connect. Okay.
Cool. So if you see, we have, let's say, CryptoPunks. So click on the CryptoPunk. There's a little logo down there. Exactly. So we have custom front pages of custom models made for a bunch of different collections. So let's say CryptoPunk. So type in 1001 in the search box. And then click generate. Oh, sorry, they need to recreate.
No.
Oh, you know what?
Is it because it's CryptoPunks? Is that why?
CryptoPunks. That's why I've just realized. Yeah, exactly. Okay, then as I said, there's a huge amount that you can generate with this. Now, there's one other feature. If you click on the top right, you're going to see your creations. That little circle where it says OX. Now, this shows you everything that you've ever generated. Now, you can click on any one of these pictures, and it will allow you to select it. So we're going to pick 5 pictures. So just click on one, and then click Select Image. And then do that 4 more times with 4 more pictures. Because we found when we started to create this, people started to create Twitter threads. Now, scroll up a little bit more, and then click Generate Comic. And then click your panel layout. So I'd say do the third one. I think you had 5 or 6 panels. Can't remember which. And then you can close that. I'll talk you through it. Now, as you resize the browser window, you're going to reposition all of those panels. So if you if you make it sort of a slightly more, the actual entire browser window is going to resize all panels at the same time.
Okay.
And you can start adding text boxes to it. And so you can actually, you click on the little text box logo just underneath the logo in the top right. There we go. So you should be able to click that and then start dragging these text boxes. Just give it, I think, 1 click and it should appear somewhere.
Oh, there it is.
Cool. And so now you can sort of type in anything and reposition. Now, again, we picked 5 images at random here. The idea would be you would actually put some thought into telling a story to be able to generate comics. So this was some tech that we built to allow community members to help support their projects by, again, using cool art and cool technology. So there's a lot that goes on behind Satributes. To try and sum it up in an hour, unfortunately, is always a very tricky thing to do. But what I wanted to showcase was the underlying tech, which is we do a lot with AI to help artists understand and use this technology. We do a lot with ordinals to, again, bring artists into the space. You may notice the inscribe button. Now, we do something interesting here where you can only pay with ETH because we're trying to onboard new artists. And the problem is, thank you. And we have actually found a way to inscribe images to special Satoshis cheaper than it would be to mint that same image to ETH. We're really quite proud about that. We pulled that off the day before yesterday. Once you inscribe anything, it can get added to your own collections if you wanted to, or we can add it to the AI blocks collection. If you go to Magic Eden, I can just show you the AI blocks collection. So you can see some of the stuff that people have been inscribing.
Shizzy, did you know about any of this?
No idea, but this is fucking insane.
So the Satributes owns this application, right?
Yeah. Oh, you wait until you wait. Okay, I'll show you one other thing before we go too far into the weeds. And the reason, and I'll say how
my mind is blown right now. Like, this is amazing. This is absolutely. This is way better than fucking Midjourney and ChatGPT put together. This is insane.
Well, I'm saving the best. So type in AI blocks, and then you'll. It should all be one word, I think, or just AI. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So these are some of the images that have been inscribed since yesterday. So you can see the images that have been either generated on the platform or artists have created, and every single one of them is on a special Satoshi because we don't mess with common sats. And so that's a block 9. One's a palindrome, one's a pizza sat, one's an uncommon. Because we have incredible pricing. I think we have the cheapest special sats that you can do on any inscription platform, and we'll always do that just because, again, we don't need to make the money, we need to onboard the artists. So this is an interesting thing, but I'm going to give you one more link, gentlemen, one more link that ties all of this together. Curvereality.com.
Curve Reality?
So this ties it back to what I've been doing. The R&D I've been building for the past 12 years.
Oh, yeah. This is the stuff that I've seen a little bit about.
There we go. So this is a new category in computing. It's a desktop class computer. That middle module is the computer. That top is the battery. That bottom is a base that's always plugged into the wall on your television. When you disconnect those top two components, you can put them in a sling, and then you can plug in PC-grade virtual or augmented reality headsets. The panels that you see on the wall, and that's the lead AR tech from a dev from Meta, Electima dev. When you put these glasses on and you look at these panels, what you see is a window into another world, into a 3D environment. So we have locations in key galleries, effectively. This is in West Hollywood at the Sunset Marquee. This was at SIGGRAPH at a big Web2 tech event at the LA Convention Center a couple of weeks ago. And you can kind of just about see what we can see, which is some incredible Frogland content. Now, unlike anything else, there is a level of depth of parallax of perspective that you get with this technology that you can't get with TVs or cinema screens, because you can walk around. It's literally like you're looking out of a window. Video is going to loop here, so you can kill that if you like. I tell you what, I can actually show you what you can see through the glasses. Let me see if I can find that.
That's pretty cool. If you put that, like, all those panels in a room that covers the entire room, then you're in the 3D environment in that room.
When you say that,
the whole time.
That's we're building the holodeck in West Hollywood for all of November, or possibly December. We're locking the location down. You'll be able to come to West Hollywood, wear this sling, put the glasses on, and walk around a room that's not got a few of those panels, but the entire room is going to be covered in that material. So you will be able to look around a 3D environment as though you're stood in the environment. But you're not wearing a big old VR headset, so you're wearing something comfortable that's lightweight, that weighs less than 100 grams on your face. It's pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. And if I can send you one last video, just so you can see what we're actually seeing through the glasses.
I had no idea you guys were doing any of this stuff. Like, this is not being talked about, and I feel we should. This is amazing. Like, we're gonna definitely talk about this way more often. Like, this is amazing, dude. This is amazing. I'm speechless.
Well, the whole idea of this is we've done a lot of work. We've ground and grinded for 12 years in hardware R&D in Silicon Valley. It's not an easy thing to do, and Web3 is a breath of fresh air. So to me, Web3 is the place where the best content creators and innovators and developers are focusing. And within Web3, it's ordinals who have caught the attention of the smartest and most interesting people. So to me, I need to give developer kits away to people, to devs who are going to build great content. And to me, the best people I can possibly give these developer kits to are going to be the people who are in the ordinal space. So we have this ability to now work with artists, elevate their content to the point that we can put them in holographic galleries around the world and give them the exposure. At a point where Web3 is going to be screwed because no one wants to talk about Web3, we have the world's best holographic technology the world has never seen. And we can use that as a way to surreptitiously start keeping Web3 content front and center at Web2 tech events. We're at SIGGRAPH. We were hosting at SIGGRAPH, and we had unlimited passes to give to whoever we wanted. So we had an open call to anyone in Ordinals, not just our community, anyone who wanted to come down. And when they got down, I was like, thank you for coming, but go forth and mingle and conquer, because these are Web2 tech companies who always need content. And you are some of the best content creators who know about technology. So it's a match made in heaven that they just need to go and talk to people. So it was maybe 50 odd people come down over the course of the 3 days. It was amazing.
So is this hardware going to be integrated with Ordinals? Is it already integrated with Ordinals?
So it's a computer fundamentally, and it runs an open source operating system.
Okay.
We have a tool that supports Web3 content. So effectively, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, I love open source. The fact that it's open source, and I think most software as a service or like platforms or even hardware is trying to go to that. But it's really, So I mean, I can't wait to really see what's the next step for this. Because
next step we'll be at Bitcoin Amsterdam, we'll be at Inscribe Amsterdam, and then we're going to be West Hollywood over the course of the next few weeks. So if you're going to be at any of those locations and you want to come and check the tech out yourself, we're going to have it set up everywhere basically. So just let us know who you are and where you're going to be, and we can line it up.
That's awesome.
So a lot of that's what I'm saying. It's hard to summarize what Satributes is. I like to say Satributes is a revolution. It's a renaissance. It's us finding a way to raise the bar so high that people who are going to come into the Ordinal project need to think twice. Am I willing to sacrifice and to spend and to give and give and give, not for profit, but to foster community? Because it's those projects, I think, that will become the titans of this next bull run. And if we don't learn from the mistakes that we had in 2021, we're doomed to repeat the same. And it is such a risk. It really is. So everyone, I'd say, listen to the pitches. If someone's trying to tell you to give them money so that they can hire a team of people to build them something, then think about what happens if they don't raise enough money, if they just take your money. And I'm never going to get that back. That's where everything started to go wrong. If you can look 100%. To the people, exactly, they're building now that don't need other help, that could just collaborate to build better stuff, they're the people that deserve your money. You know, don't give it to us. We don't want we can take an active and engaged community, and I can monetize that a million ways through Web 2. You know, we'll be the Christies of Ordinals, but up until then, we're not in a rush. What matters is building the best community and the best foundation, and this is the best fucking time to build it.
Yeah. And I feel that energy and a bit of innocence, right, with the Ordinal movement, and I hope that continues. But go ahead, Shizzy.
Yeah. So basically, I'm blown away by what you guys are doing. Like I said, we had no idea what you guys were doing until now. I mean, we knew you had some collections and stuff, but you are like the reason why we do this stuff. We try to find good people in the space, and honestly, so far, you might be like the most pure person we've ever came across, man. It's been absolutely amazing interview. Amazing. But this is kind of the part of the show, kind of give you the stage and you kind of talk to your audience, you talk to our community. It's just about anything you want. The stage is yours.
Oh, dangerous, but thank you. Okay. So where can I begin? Well, number one, this is a call to action. So for the past few weeks, we've been giving out Orange List 3 spots. So we propose challenges to the community, challenges to use the various tools that we're giving out to people to show off the best content they can create with them. And if they can do that, then they can earn spots in this upcoming collection so that they can go and claim an Ordinal. So we have loads of these challenges, and a lot of people have received their OL3 roles, but not everyone has submitted their address. And they basically have until tomorrow or the day after to get that address submitted. And if they don't, they are going to miss that window. But again, if you're not giving the project the time and attention, then we need to make sure those spots go to the people that are giving the project the time and attention, because we can't have dead weight in this project. So that being said, I would say anyone who does already have an OL3 role, if you haven't seen any of our announcements or pinned tweets over the past week asking you to get your address in there, get it in. Otherwise, it is going to get recycled to someone who is standing by on the wait list. So that was number one. Number two, if you are a Unity developer, if you're an Unreal developer, if you are interested in AI or XR in any shape or form, or if you have any kind of experience with video editing, with CGI, with Blender, it doesn't really matter. We have a community of individuals who are very passionate about working with others, and we have ways to be able to expose content to an audience of people outside of Web3 that I think is a fairly unique angle. So if you're interested in getting SDKs, and if you can actually get me some great content, the content that you sort of saw through those glasses, and turn it around to me in the next month or two, I can get you some dev kits. And we don't charge for these dev kits. We'll send you a dev board and we'll just get you to build some content. But if you can't get us content in the next 2 to 3 months, we would need you to send the dev board back or to someone who is able to. So I do have to mention that as well. So again, I mean, I'd say just go to discord.gg/Satributes. Just hop in. I go by Snoop Frog in the Discord and just ping me at any point. And I mean, ping anyone in all honesty, but I'll happily point you in the right direction. I think honestly, that's all I can say. Just get, right. I mean, we're only just getting started. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. But yeah, get ready for both the First Light collection, which will be at an undisclosed time at some point in the not too distant future. But on the 26th of September at 4:20 p.m. EST, get ready to go to Magic Eden to claim your Ordinals. And that's to everyone who already has a Satribute, as well as to those people who have received their OL3 role.
Gotcha. And has the I guess the snapshot or anything been done yet? So if somebody wanted to buy one today, would they be able to get in there?
They are still able to. Yeah, we haven't done a snapshot. The idea is if you hold and support the community. Now we do have some rules. So we work on a nomination basis where if you're a holder, you're welcome to nominate a new person in. But if the person that you nominate in is a bad actor, does things that hurts the community in any shape or form, and we have the rules of Satribution inside our Discord, then that bad actor will be removed, but so will the person or people that nominated them, because there needs to be accountability in this space. And unfortunately, it's very hard to do that in a decentralized capacity, but I feel community moderation is the way that works. And by making sure the people that get invited in realize they get a very good chance of getting kicked out from this community if they introduce the wrong person, then it makes them think long and hard about who they want to introduce. I mean, I personally could introduce any one of my founders over the past 10, 15 years of being a business, and none of them would do anything against the interests of the community. So I'm quite happy about that. But just some random dude that's paid me some money to try and get in, no, I wouldn't take that risk, because then onus is on you to make sure they're a good actor. So that's another thing I would mention. We're trying to do things differently. If we ever do something the same way as anything else, we're doing something wrong. So we're always going to try and push the barrier anywhere we can.
Awesome.
Awesome,
Well,
man.
we definitely appreciate you joining us. And we're excited for the future of Satributes, and any updates that you have in the future, you're always welcome back to jump on the show. You're always welcome to our spaces, which we're about to start here in about 8 minutes, so we got to wrap this up. But yeah, we just want to appreciate you for jumping on, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
Yep.
Honestly, thank you so much for having me. I've had an absolute blast. I'm sorry I did all of the talking, but yeah, really thank you for helping us get this message out. Because again, we build and we build and we build. We don't really market because we believe word of mouth is the best thing we can do. But that being said, it's a good thing to get the word out there for what we're doing. So I appreciate you both for giving us the time and yeah, attention.
Yeah, this is exactly why we do it. Because without videos like these, without the education that we're going to be putting this out with, people don't know these things, and because you guys don't do marketing and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why we do this stuff, and we just try to do kind of like what you guys do. We try to help the community the best we can. If we can go out and find guys like you and put videos out like this and really help the people, like, oh wow, I didn't even know what Satributes was. That's enough for us. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate everything and everything you're doing, because it doesn't sound like you're making a dime. So
it's an investment. Our money comes in the bull market when Christie's comes knocking to get access to the best artists in the space, and then Web2 has all the money Web3 ever needs. Like, people quickly forget that Web3's infinite liquidity source is Web2 marketing dollars. And Web2 marketing likes nothing more to be in front of the cool kids. And Web3 has the coolest kids in the earth. So what we need to do is build this support network. So when the market turns, those artists are not going to get exploited. And as we will make our money, but we're going to fucking hammer the Christie's and the Sotheby's of the world rather than try to take it from the artists or the people within Web3. So again, it's an investment. And that being said,
man, I love it.
Gentlemen, if you do not already have your OL3 roles, I think what you both are doing is so important for the space. I would like you both to join the Discord, ping me, Snoop Frog, so I can get your OL3s and get your addresses in, because again, got to get in by tomorrow. So you've got to be quick.
Awesome.
I'll be in there today.
Yeah, we'll take care of that today. Appreciate
Excellent.
it.
Well then, gentlemen, thank you very much once again. Best of luck at the Twitter space, and I may hop in actually. I've still got another couple of hours to kill before my wedding, my friend's wedding starts. So we're good.
Awesome. All right, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
All right, bye.
Absolutely amazing. That was one of my favorites. I'm blown away by everything. I was seriously like jaw drop for most of that. I was like on the site messing with it, dude. So much fun, so interesting. Satributes, man. Oh wow. I'm excited,
I mean,
man.
like, I think one of the biggest things was the tools, right? Like, I didn't know that they had the
that's exactly
AI blocks app that you can actually inscribe on special sats. So that's really awesome,
dude. And I was messing with it. You can do something. You can just put anything in there and then inscribe it right from the same website. Like, it's insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I'm a huge fan. Guys, check it out. This is like I said before, this is exactly why we do things like this, get information like this out there. So we appreciate every single person for liking, subscribing, commenting, and we just appreciate you guys. Every view means so much to us, and we really appreciate it.
For sure. All right.
Thanks, guys. And just so you guys know, the revolution will be televised. See you guys.